Aeona and Tana. Author's notes. These events chronologically begin after the fall of the ancient gods, and likely finish sometime after Darmor awakens as a transcendent. In the Radiant Temple on Grandis, two girls came into existence and stood before the executors or executors of light and darkness to be judged. Author's note. The Radiant Temple has also been called the Temple of Light. One girl was able to hear a beautiful yet cold voice, that of the overseers. This girl became known as Aeona, the transcendent of light. The other became known as Tana, a spare for the transcendent. Tana soon grew curious about her powers of light and her sister's powers of darkness. In her research, she discovered that light and darkness were merely analogies for the true power of the transcendence of light, that of creation and destruction, and learned that an awakened transcendent could only wield one, while the other power was held by the spare. Author's note. It's unknown who's the spare for the Black Mage. Most probably it's Luminous, who was created from the discarded light of the White Mage, which fits the mandate that the spare holds the other power that the awakened transcendent doesn't, i.e., Luminous wields light magic because the Black Mage awakened with the power of dark magic. Another possibility is that the spare is the White Mage of Earth, who seems to wield light magic. This might fit because Aeona and Tana have an inverse color scheme, and so the White Mage, being the inverse of the Black Mage, might be the spare to his other self. It's implied that Earth and Maple World were originally one world before the Overseers separated them, and so they might still be connected this way. Over time, Aeona slowly appeared to lose her sanity and used her powers to destroy 7 races in Grandis, perhaps even more, as she left no trace of her actions. Author's note. There is some class-exclusive dialogue in Esfera that suggests that Aeona also faced Gerent Darmor, though it's unknown whether they were referring to Aeona the First or Tana. When Tana learned of this, she confronted her sister, who claimed she was only doing her job, compelled against her Compelled against her will by the voice she heard, believing Aeona to be unworthy of her power. Tana fought and defeated her, thus becoming the new Transcendent of Light and gaining the title of Aeona. Author's note. I feel really bad for Aeona. She seemed pretty cold and distant in the Esfera storyline, but she's never particularly hurtful towards Tana. She came across more as bitter and jaded because her entire existence was just endless destruction, and she had no free will throughout any of it. It seemed like she was trying to protect her sister from the truth when she destroyed the book about the Transcendents and kept her at a distance with backhanded comments. Regarding Tana's awakening as Aeona's replacement, it's unknown whether the spare to the Black Mage would awaken as the new Transcendent of Light after his death, but given that there's no mention that Luminous or anyone else suddenly becomes a Transcendent, it either means that we don't know the identity of the spare, Maple World is completely bereft of the Transcendent of Light, or the fusing of the Maple World and Grandis means that Tana's existence satisfies the requirement of a Transcendent of Light, and so there's no need for a spare to awaken. It poses an interesting question about what the fates of the other Transcendents are, since Alpha and Beta and Chronica share the same title as Transcendents of Time, as well as Elysia and Darmor sharing the title of Transcendents of Life. But that's beyond the scope of this author's note. Tana heard the voice and realized that she was now shackled to the will of the overseers. However, she refused this fate and left the Radiant Temple, eventually leaving Grandis itself. Tana's travels eventually brought her to Maple World, where she made her way into the kingdom of Critias. In the capital of Truofe, she was walking in the town square when a young orphan named Jean snuck up behind to pickpocket her. Just then, a large anti-magic stone being hoisted fell down and exploded. Tana pushed Jean out of the way, but she and everyone else in range were vaporized. To everyone's shock, however, Tana rematerialized out of thin air. She was then arrested and taken prisoner, where the mages of Truofe experimented on her in order to find the source of her immortality so that they could bestow it upon their ruler, King Hecaton.